What's up, everybody? This is Dylan and Ryan with episode 20 of the Next On Deck podcast. We got a new setup this week. It's pretty sick. Thanks to our friend Dan at Grove City, set us up. He's going to be, editing the video. So, the editing quality of this video is going to be a lot better, because I don't really, know that I am trash. So thank you to him. I'll leave his Instagram with his beats, in the description. But Ryan, you ready to get started today?
Yeah, speaking of punishments.
Oh, I honestly almost forgot about this segment.
Yeah. That's an important part of this episode.
I have two I have two this week, don't I?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I'm going to need you to go ahead and just take that shirt off. Just let the world see the baby nips.
Oh, no. I don't want to pull out my baby nips.
Baby nips for everyone.
Oh. All right. Can I at least leave the hat on?
You can leave the hat on.
All right, cool.
I'll do that hat.
Okay, so what would you consider, the first half of the episode? When can I... Should I just... wait, can it be... okay.
We'll see what feels right.
Yeah, we'll feel it out, I guess. Yeah. If I talk a little more awkwardly than I usually do, you know why. So... No, stop. Okay, alright, yeah, so... Ryan, we'll start out today with the topic of Julian Edelman. Julian Edelman recently retired because he got cut from the Patriots for failing a physical, weirdly enough. He was kind of old, run down, so, this was kind of the end of his career anyway, so I can understand why he retired. But, there's been conversation of him getting into the Hall of Fame. So, Ryan, would you consider Julian Edelman a Hall of Famer?
I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. I love Julian Edelman as a player. He's been an insane receiver to watch. Obviously, growing up, that was, as I got older, more into sports, he was the guy you saw in the playoffs every year, making insane catches. His playoff performance are insane. He was, second overall in, playoff yards. Dude's crazy, but his regular season didn't match that intensity. For a Hall of Famer, I think.
And I think that's why people are trying to consider him to be a Hall of Famer, because he's had some great playoff performances, but, that doesn't mean he should be a Hall of Famer because he had a couple good, postseason years. And, it helps when his quarterback's, Tom Brady, of all people. I'll never forget his catch in the Super Bowl. When the Falcons, when, he somehow, through two guys, put his fingertip down and was able to save that. I still couldn't believe that play actually happened. I still believe it didn't happen. I don't know how he did it. I just don't understand people's arguments for this. Ryan, I'm gonna list off some receivers that have more receiving yards than Julian Edelman. For those of you who think he should be in the Hall of Fame, I'm gonna show you why he shouldn't be, because he doesn't have the stats to really, back him up for it. So we got some current players and some, retired guys, but Brandon Cooks, he is ahead of Julian Edelman. Jarvis Landry, Jeremy Maclin, former Eagle, Nate Washington, if you remember him, the dude on the Titans who does the Good Morning show on the NFL Network, Dwayne Bowe, who is good receiver for the Chiefs for a while. And lastly, Michael Crabtree.
Ooh, that's a Hall of Famer.
So, Ryan, would you consider any of those guys Hall of Famers?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I wouldn't either, and I don't understand why Edelman... Because, multiple guys on this list have had good, playoff performances. Not nearly as good as Edelman, but they have better stats, and no one is talking about them going into the Hall of Fame. So... For you Patriots fans out there, I'm sorry, but Edelman he's not good enough to get in the Hall of Fame. He didn't really have the stature to do it. Don't get me wrong. Still very impressed with his. Hey, I'm saying this as a 5'10"
Wow, it's because he's
white
short
dude.
and white, isn't it?
Oh, I'm short and white too. I'm short and white too.
White people.
Being 5'10", short and white, that's how I respect his ability so much more because I am the same size as him.
Yeah. I think he should be in the Beard Hall of Fame, though.
Oh, well.
His beard's incredible.
Better than James Harden?
I mean, he's up there.
For sure.
He puts it in pretty quick, too. It comes out of nowhere.
Second best beard in football.
In football?
Yeah.
Who you got ahead of him?
Oh, well, come on, Ryan. We forgot about him before in our free agency segment a couple episodes ago.
Oh, Fitzmagic?
Yeah, Fitzmagic.
Yeah, you're right.
Best beard in the NFL.
Definitely.
For sure. So, Edelman, I'm sorry. You did not have a Hall of Fame career. But, hey, you stayed loyal to the Patriots, and I respect that. Most guys don't do that nowadays. So, continuing in the NFL world, Sam Darnold trade happened about a week ago. We did miss an episode because, I was too lazy to try to get it together, so that's on me. But anyway, it happened a couple weeks ago. He went to the Panthers, of all teams. A little bit surprised, to be honest. I thought the Broncos would immediately eat him up, especially since they didn't have a really high draft pick. So the Panthers, they traded a 6th-round pick this year, a 2nd next year, and a 4th next year. So Ryan, what did you think of this trade?
I think the Panthers did really well. I mean, Sam Darnold's obviously he's not the best quarterback, but I also feel like he hasn't been in the right system to see how he can play.
It's hard when you throw a guy in on the Jets and just expect him to be, you have to be Mahomes now. Oh, you have to be great. Because the Jets have, for the last 10 years, since the butt fumble, they've really needed a playmaker, and the quarterbacks that they have, they don't. Well, one, I don't think they have the talent, to be honest, and they don't have the weapons. Like, the best receiver the Jets have had, I mean, they did have Brandon Marshall, who was pretty good when he was on the Jets. I hate to say it, but Ryan Fitzpatrick was their quarterback, so, like, he wasn't the greatest, but they don't have those weapons. So I think Sam Darnold needed a fresh start, the Jets, this was the highest value I think Darnold's going to get while he's on the Jets. Yeah. Because, with Zach Wilson coming in, I'm sorry, but Sam Darnold's not taking that starting job.
No, definitely not.
It also, and it wouldn't make sense for the Jets to start Darnold.
No, they are really backing off picking up a quarterback, whether it's Wilson or not. They really expect to get a high-value quarterback out of this draft, and assume Darnold was just going to be in the way, kind of a cap hit no matter what. Yeah,
I figured, if Darnold were to play, it would just be, kind of a mentor, one-year thing.
I don't see Darnold as the quarterback that's going to be a mentor. He hasn't been in the league that long, so he doesn't have the super veteran status to show that. And
that's true.
He hasn't been putting up numbers that you want as a mentor anyway. You want Zach Wilson to become Darnold. That's not. What you're looking for.
Yeah, that's a good point. But at the same time, if you have that mentality as a coach, that you want that young player to become the mentor. I don't know. I just feel like that's not... I feel like the mentor is just kind of there to give advice for, in-game situations. Because ultimately, you want the young player to be better than the mentor.
Yeah.
And that's, why you still have the mentor there. So I think Zach Wilson is just, too good. And it doesn't really make any sense for them to draft anybody else at number 2.
Yeah.
But... you never know. They're the Jets, so we could see...
I don't think Justin Fields will be a terrible pickup for the Jets. If it's not going to be Zach Wilson, I wouldn't hate Justin Fields.
I wouldn't hate it either, but I am not the biggest Justin Fields fan, especially as a Penn State fan, him being from Ohio State, and considering that, I don't know why, but Ohio State quarterbacks just have a history of not being good in the NFL.
They don't produce.
They really don't, so, I think the Jets are going to go with Zach Wilson here, but... Honestly, I think the Jets could have done better in this trade. I don't know if you guys saw my post, probably not, but I put a post up on Instagram where I gave grades, to each team. And I gave the Jets, I think it was a B+ or a B-. Because, Ryan, I think they should have gone after Teddy Bridgewater. I think they could have got him in this trade. Mm-hmm. If they threw in, a low-round pick, because they have they have picks. They have picks to spare. Throw in a pick with, garbage Darnold. Because they didn't get much in return anyway. No. So, and, the Panthers are going to trade Bridgewater. Yeah, it only makes sense.
Both of them.
He didn't do well, and, he is a big cap hit for the team. So, why not throw Bridgewater in there? Maybe he could start a couple games for the Jets.
Yeah.
And then, he would be that kind of mentor, because he's definitely a better mentor than Darnold, obviously.
Bridgewater's a really undervalued quarterback in general.
He is, and he's had a lot more obviously success in the league.
Yeah.
So I think the Jets should have gone after him. I don't know if they tried to or not, but I mean, for the Panthers, I gave them an A++. Yeah, 2 pluses. They got 2 pluses because they gave up like so many low value picks. So they really honestly gave up just dirt. Like it was pretty much nothing. And I think they looked at Darnold's potential, and he's the 8th most sacked quarterback in the league. 8th. Like that's kind of high for a young quarterback. You know, he's kind of bound to not succeed there. And, you know, he'll finally get a good O-line in Carolina. Mm-hmm. He'll have the 2nd best running back in the NFL. He already has chemistry with Robbie Anderson.
That's going to be nice.
And DJ Moore, who's also a, you know, really good receiver.
Yeah.
So I think Sam Darnold will finally have a chance with a good offense. And obviously, I think most people realize this is his last chance. So if he can't do it on the Panthers, I don't know what you know, Sam Darnold is going to be able to do. So I think the Panthers really made out here. I think Sam Darnold could take him to, like, I don't know, maybe a 7-9 season. I mean, their defense isn't that good. So
yeah, the defense is going to kill no matter what. I mean, you can't rely.
But their division is going to be worse. Like, thinking they got the Falcons, who, I mean, I guess they're too unpredictable, but they don't have a good defense.
You never know what's going on there.
The Saints are still going to be solid, even without Breeze.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on the other team here.
Bucks.
They're gonna have trouble with the Bucks. I mean, it's the Bucks, so I think Darnold will have a decent year, probably a little lower than the Panthers want him to do, but
yeah.
I think he'll obviously do better than any years he was on the Jets.
And he's young enough. I think they can continue to rebuild that defense around him, and in a couple of years be decent at least.
Yeah, for sure. So we got. Next up, we got our weekly segment of Game Set Judgment, where we pick future games for the next week, and we pick who we think's gonna win. And then if we're wrong, the next week we get a punishment. So last week was the first week we did this new segment, and Ryan, you only got 1 wrong out of the 6 games that I choose. You only got 1 wrong, and I got 2 wrong. It was funny because it wasn't even the same games that we got wrong.
Yeah.
Ryan, do you remember what game you got wrong?
Oh, I'm well aware of what game I got wrong. That game did me so dirty.
Ryan got the UCLA Gonzaga game wrong, which I know it was a little bit ago.
You made fun of me.
And I know you guys don't have the best, memory, but yeah, that was when Jalen Suggs hit that I can't imagine how many feet it was away. It must have been 40 or something. I don't know. It wasn't half court, but it was pretty close to half court. Buzzer beater, cheered in front of a bunch of pieces of cardboard. Yelled at the cardboard. And that was great. I did make fun of you because I underestimated UCLA a lot. I underestimated Juzang or whoever the really good dude is on UCLA that averaged somehow he averaged 25 points, which doesn't happen in college. It doesn't happen. And Gonzaga just kind of broke down. I think it might have just been, I don't know if it was them being tired out. I don't know if they were intimidated by, getting upset or what it was. But the last 2 games, they just looked, I should say in the UCLA game, their defense looked bad.
Yeah.
But their offense looked good. But against Baylor,
they weren't using the weapons they used to use. They barely ever used Timmy.
Yep, Timmy wasn't used.
One of the biggest offensive weapons they had games previously.
Well, and that was, their kind of success to how they got so far and how they were able to just demolish teams was Timmy. Because Timmy has such a great basketball IQ and, he's great with offensive rebounds and scoring in the paint. No one really had a guy that could defend him.
No, absolutely
And even if they did, you got Jalen Suggs, Corey Kiss. They have great shooting. Everybody can score on the team. So...
Yeah.
I did call you kind of crazy when you did make that pick. I didn't believe you. You stayed true to it. I respect that. But you're still going to get 1 punishment this week. As you see here, this is my first punishment that I have to expose my tiny nipples for the first half of this show. But I also got another game wrong, so I got another punishment waiting for me, which... I don't even know what to expect at this point because I'm assuming you just thought of this on the spot. I didn't. Yeah, I figured. So I'm kind of scared to see what Ryan has in store for me. But I got the Astros versus A's game wrong, which was a little embarrassing considering that I'm kind of the baseball expert out of the 2 of us. the A's got slapped. They lost like 7-1 on opening day or something. I didn't take into account, because I said the thing about, the road crowd for, bashing on Houston. Or I guess it would be the home crowd because they were the road team. But, then I probably didn't realize that the stadiums are at like 20% capacity.
Yeah,
so it's going to not really affect them that much. And it was Zach Greinke. I underestimated him. Plus, the A's bullpen let me down. They let up like 5 runs in the last 2 innings or whatever. But I also got the Clippers-Nuggets games wrong. I picked the Clippers because, they're the Clippers. I thought they could eke away a win, but Pandemic P came back and shot like, I don't know, it was like 30% or something, and the Clippers lost. So those are the 2 games I lost. So, Ryan, I guess we will do our punishments. Well, you'll see our punishments here, I guess. I don't know. I don't really know how to do that, but anyway. Okay. So, Ryan, for the new games this week, we got 2 in the NBA, 2 in the MLB, which, we'll do 2 for each sport going on. But first game I got is the game on Friday. Clippers 76ers. I'll give you a little preview on injuries and stuff to see who's out and, So the Clippers, they got Patrick Beverley, Ibaka, and Kawhi Leonard are all game-time decisions. And then for the Sixers, Tobias Harris and Dwight Howard are game-time decisions. So, Ryan, who do you have taking there? Clippers or 76ers?
Despite my hatred towards Philadelphia, I'm going to have to go
Hey, you're going with the Philly boys. I love it because I'm going to go with the same pick. Joel Embiid, his injury, he didn't need any time to recover from that injury. He scored like 40 the other night. He's looking great. He's looking great. I know. He's putting up Curry numbers right now, honestly.
It's gross.
He's playing great. I think the Sixers are going to carry that momentum, and especially playing at home.
Yeah.
I don't see Pandemic P stopping them, especially if Kawhi's out. But so Ryan's second NBA game I got is on Saturday. Warriors, Celtics. The Celtics are on a 4-game winning streak. And Curry recently passed Wilt for the all-time leader in points for the Warriors. And so for the last 3 games, he's had 38 points, 53, and 42. So he's really been going off. But just to give you a preview, the Warriors, James Wiseman obviously out for the year. So that's kind of a recent injury. But Kelly Oubre is a game-time decision. And for the Celtics, Evan Fournier, I think that's how you say that, has COVID. So he may or may not play, but Ryan, who do you got there? Warriors or Celtics?
Celtics have been playing good lately, but I think that Curry effect's going to take over. I like the way Curry's been looking. I'm going to go with the Warriors.
Yeah.
It's really hit or miss, but
It's hard to, discredit Curry and say that he's not going to do well. But the Celtics, I think they have a momentum as a team.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to take this one. But I totally could see Curry dropping 60 on him. Honestly. They don't really have anyone that can cover Curry that well.
Curry had 11 threes the other day, and then they took him out. 11.
Yeah. He also, in the game that he needed 19 points to beat Wilt, I'm pretty sure he got 23 in the first quarter. So, he wasn't wasting any time. I think Curry he just does whatever he wants, So I'm going to take the Celtics here. You're taking the Warriors?
Yep. All
right, well, we'll see who loses that next week, so I guess we'll at least have one punishment for each other. But moving into baseball, we finally get the first preview of the exciting National League matchup of the Dodgers and the Padres. They play on Saturday. Clayton Kershaw is pitching for the Dodgers. Yu Darvish is pitching for the Padres. Obviously, Fernando Tatis is out with his injury. But, Ryan, who do you see taking that game?
I like the Padres on this one.
Okay. I think the Dodgers are going to take it. One, because the Padres don't have Tatis.
Reasonable.
And Kershaw, he got rocked opening day, which I still don't know why he started opening day, because they have 2 other pitchers that are better than Kershaw. I guess it's just a traditional thing. I don't know. But he's done really well since that opening day, and I think that lineup without Tatis, still good, still really good. I think Kershaw is going to shut him down, and I think the Dodgers are going to take this one. But the last game I got for you, Ryan, is Diamondbacks Nationals. We got Madison Bumgarner pitching for the Diamondbacks, who right now is 0-2 with an 11 ERA. And then we got Steven Strasburg pitching for the Nationals. who's only pitched one game because, they got COVID stuff. So his ERA is like 6, but, it's not as accurate because it's one game. But, Ryan, who are you taking there?
Well, with my lack of baseball knowledge, from what I've heard, Nationals kind of suck.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just the word on the street. But that was just from an angry fan. So.
Okay. I mean, they did win the World Series like 2 years ago.
Yeah, but from an angry fan recently, he's really been against the Nationals, being a Nationals fan.
Is that same person also a Rays fan?
That person is Ian.
Okay, he is also a Rays fan.
Okay, well, that might be.
Yes. For those of you who don't know, we have a guy on our hallway that likes the Nationals and the Rays. I don't know how that combination came into effect. I know he lives in D.C., so I get the Nationals part of it. Don't really get the Rays part, but... so you're taking the Diamondbacks here?
No, I'm going with the Nationals.
Oh, so you're going to go with them because...
I don't believe Ian in anything.
Okay. I'm going to agree with you here. I think Juan Soto's playing really well. He'll kind of have a tough time against Bumgarner, obviously, because he's a lefty. But
plus, Bumgarner's a stupid name.
It is a stupid name because, I mean, he has a higher ERA than letters in his name. So, that's how you know he's doing pretty bad.
Yeah.
That's a game set judgment. I'll upload probably our punishments. I'll put it here probably or something. Dan, I don't know, cut this, whatever. But yeah, check out our episode next week for the punishments we have to do for games this week. So, monitor the games as we go. I'll probably maybe post live updates. Maybe we'll post a trash talking video each other for the games. Because we picked Warriors Celtics, we picked different opponents, so we'll see how that goes. But speaking of Steph Curry, I wanted to ask Ryan. I wanted to ask you the question. Because he's been kind of relevant recently. Well, I mean he's always relevant. But since he passed Wilt recently in all-time points, I figured this was a viable question to ask or a valid question to ask. Is Steph Curry the greatest point guard of all time?
I think it's really hard to put him as the greatest. I have no issue putting him in at top 3, maybe even top 2. I have no issue with that.
Mm-hmm.
I see it hard to make him the greatest of all time solely based off of his lack of accolades without a super team. I think it's hard to say he's that good whenever he's good numbers of championships, but that's with an incredible team. And I know that's not always a great argument. I hate that argument sometimes.
Yeah.
But I also think that does take away some of his greatness. But I will say, I think within a few years he'll be the most influential point guard of all time.
I think he already is the most influential.
With him and Allen Iverson.
I think Allen Iverson had more of an influence on the culture of the NBA, but I think Curry has changed the game.
Yeah.
His ability to just pull up and shoot from literally anywhere. I mean, I think that's definitely influenced teams into, making the 3-point more part of their game.
Yeah.
And, I think he maybe not the sole reason, but he's a part of why centers now have to be able to shoot threes, basically, to be the best center in the NBA. You can't just be strong and dominant anymore. Yeah. You have to be able to shoot threes. And I think, because obviously, I feel like, the person we compare to Curry, if we're talking about greatest point guard of all time, I mean, it's Magic, right? I feel like universally, Magic is probably the greatest point guard of all time.
Yeah.
Allen Iverson is definitely in there. And, you got to take into account that he was never on a super team. He was never on any team like Magic or Curry was.
Yeah.
I think, though, Curry's a 3-time champ. He's still got, obviously, he's still got some good years left. He's still putting up big numbers. I think because of how Curry came up, I think he is the greatest. Because he was a 6'2", 180 white guy, which I'm sad to say, but I weigh more than that right now. So I weigh more than Curry did in high school. And as you can see, I'm not the biggest dude ever. But he led a school to an Elite 8 that no one had ever... I've never heard of Davidson before.
Yeah.
I would have never heard of it if it wasn't for Curry.
I still never hear of it.
Exactly. He was originally a shooting guard, and he evolved his game into a point guard. He had the most threes all time as a freshman and then also a sophomore. So he was doing this, in college, and everybody was downing him because obviously if people knew what he could become, he would have been number 1 overall, like Magic was. But with Magic, the expectations were already there.
Yeah.
Before college, it was him and Bird rivalry already out of the gate. Magic was number 1 overall to the Lakers. It was a perfect fit for him. And you could say the same for Steph Curry and the Warriors. You could, because it seems like Curry goes really well with him. But I don't know. I think it's hard to compare them because to me they're two different players.
They're very different.
Very different players.
Different time period with Magic and the 3-point
different
shot
time periods, right? Because Magic for his career averaged 11 assists per game. That's pretty impressive, especially back then when the games weren't that high scoring.
Yeah.
And he averaged 20 points, 52% from the field, 2 steals a game. He was great defensively. He led a lot of teams. I don't know. I think Curry not having any Finals MVPs really hurts him.
Yeah.
Because Magic was a 5-time champ, and 3 of the times he was MVP. Curry's won 3 times and hasn't won Finals MVP. Now, I think part of that was Andre Iguodala playing really good defense on LeBron. There was KD one year, so he's greatest scorer of all time in my opinion. So definitely. It's kind of hard to take that away from him. So, you could make excuses there. But I have a feeling, though, if you are undoubtedly the best point guard of all time, you have to have a Finals MVP. I think he can still get one. I think when Klay comes back, they might get Kawhi after this year. If they get Kawhi, they're set. They're gonna be, but I don't know. He's averaging 24 points for his career, which nowadays it isn't great. I understand as a rookie he's not gonna average as much.
Yeah.
And he's been averaging 27 a game now for the last couple of years. So don't get me wrong, fairly impressive. I don't think he's the best point guard, but I think he's definitely the best shooter of all time.
Yeah.
I could see arguments against that, but he's shooting 43% for his career.
That's crazy.
That's in his unanimous MVP season, he shot 45%.
Wow.
So it's not like he's even regressing that much for his career, and he was unanimous MVP that year. So it's tough. I want to put Curry there because it's kind of cool because we grew up watching him and everything like that. I think he has one of the greatest stories in the NBA, but I don't think I can label him the best of all time without that Finals MVP. If he gets the Finals MVP, I'm going to say he's the best of all time. And also, people are going to say Magic's a better defender. He averaged 1.9 steals. Curry averages 1.7. That's not that far off.
No.
So Curry I was actually really surprised by that number. I did not expect him to have that many steals, but yeah, Curry does a really good job
only
there.
He could shoot like Steph.
Yeah, only if Magic could shoot like Steph, then Magic would undoubtedly be the best of all time. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about Curry a little bit. Okay, so we had some technical difficulties. So I consider this more than half the episode. So Ryan did let me put my shirt back on. But Ryan, I'd like you to introduce the next segment we have.
We call this "Fuck Jadeveon Clowney." I hate him.
Ryan, why do you hate him?
First off, my man's trash. He's been average the entire time he's been in the league.
Yeah.
He thinks he's big, but he's not. He signed with the Browns.
But Ryan, he was a first overall pick.
And done what with it? He's maybe better than Jamarcus Russell.
He got 3 sacks with the Seahawks that one year.
3 whole sacks. Wow. What a guy.
But the question is, could Jadeveon Clowney sack Jamarcus Russell? He's a big boy. I don't know if he could take down.
He watches the splits packages.
I don't know who watches more film, Jadeveon Clowney or Jamarcus Russell. But Ryan, I feel like there's more to that. I feel like that's a very strong feeling for Clowney just to say that he sucks and fuck him.
Clowney's very proud of himself he's really into himself.
Right.
So, and he's been having a tough time that his entire career he's just been getting triple, double teamed at least, because he's not been, according to him, he is now excited to play with another dominant end on the same team like Myles Garrett because now he can get more one-on-ones because he's never played with anyone who's good.
Oh, well, I mean, he should be excited to play with Myles Garrett.
Yeah, he's never had another dominant end on his team because he's only ever played
Oh
for them.
my God,
Yeah.
what? He played with J.J. Watt,
J.J.
though.
Watt's nothing to him.
He was, well, yeah, okay, the only reason why I see he made that statement is because he was injured the entire time he was on the Texans, and he probably, when he was, because J.J. Watt, like, he has his injury issues, but, like, he played most of the
time. Connie's just been hurt.
That's so much disrespect to J.J. Watt.
Absolute disrespect.
That'd be funny if J.J. Watt, like, asked for a release of the Cardinals, and then just went to the Browns and was like, hey, he was like, I'll play for you for, like, less money than you signed for Clowney. So you're getting a better defensive end for less money and a bigger name. So then just drop Clowney. So Watt just does this out of spite.
I'll play for you for $10 right now if you drop Clowney.
J.J. Watt's like, I'll make you a Super Bowl contender for only $4 million if you drop Jadeveon Clowney. But, yeah, Clowney, I mean, it's in the name. He's kind of a clown. After the 2019 season with the Seahawks, the Browns actually previously offered him a deal, and it was when I just said after the 2019 season when he had 3 sacks. He had 3 sacks, and the Browns offered him $20 million annually. So, like, it was a multiple-year contract. And he declined it because he wanted to play for a contender. Now, if I'm Clowney, I have 3 sacks the past... I think he played 13 games. That's pretty pathetic.
Yeah.
As, you know, that high... Like, if you think that highly of yourself as a defensive... Like, he should be better than that. Why are you not taking that contract immediately?
You're not worth more than that.
The Browns are going to regret that in 2 games, but they're not going to realize that until 2 games in. Exactly, it's too late. So why not just grab the bag? And you have Baker, who's like, he was half decent then.
Yeah, they were expecting a lot out of Baker. It's not like he was nothing.
Yeah, yeah, it was kind of the same way, but at least Baker was a number 1 pick that was able to, make himself like of something, unlike Clowney. So, yeah, Clowney's a clown. You did play with a good defensive end. Maybe you were just like, I don't know, on something the entire time. I'm not really sure, but yeah, I think J.J. Watt he was better than Myles Garrett now.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Last topic on the docket today, Ryan. I know you got a lot of homework to do, but I swear this is the last question we'll talk about, okay? All right. Jamal Murray recently, unfortunately, tore his ACL. The Nuggets are the 4th seed right now in the West. They got Aaron Gordon in the trade with the Magic. Jokic, I don't care what Blackburn says, he's having an MVP year. Okay, he's almost averaging a triple-double. He's doing real well. Michael Porter Jr. cannot miss right now. He is on fire. So, with all of that in play, Ryan, can the Nuggets be contenders with those 3 guys at the helm?
I mean, those guys are obviously playing really well, and Jokic is one of the top centers in the league, no doubt. But he's just not. He's not the offensive coordinator that Jamal Murray can be sometimes.
Right.
And that's going to be huge. Without that, it's just going to kill them so much. And they don't have. I mean, I wouldn't like. They don't have any top 5 players. Like, they're not the stars necessarily. Like, maybe games, but they're not like a Nets team where you have these absolute insane players. They have a lot of really good players. Sometimes they're great, and that's what made them really good, I think. And it was without Jamal Murray, it's going to hurt them so bad.
Yeah, it is. And I think, there were so many other, factors kind of playing into this, whether they were going to be in contention or not. They don't really, they're a good defensive team, but they don't really have, like, a lockdown defender that they can just kind of assign a guy to, which, you kind of need nowadays, because, when they go up against guys like LeBron, Kawhi Leonard, Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker, who's going to cover them?
Yeah.
I don't know, because, for one, anybody that has, like, if the Lakers play the Nuggets are screwed, because no way Jokic is going to be able to cover Anthony Davis. No. Jokic is a terrible defender.
Who's going to
Oh.
cover Kuzma? No.
Michael Porter?
Yeah, right.
No? Yeah, you're right. They need a guy to facilitate that offense. And Jamal Murray was that guy, and without him, they don't have anybody to do it. I mean, I know Jokic is like kind of like a point guard / center, and you know he's a really good passer, and you know he makes plays or whatever. But that doesn't mean he facilitates the offense. You know, he doesn't create shots for people. He can't really drive or anything like that. So, that's why they were so successful with Jamal Murray.
Yeah.
And plus, you know, in the playoffs last year, Jamal Murray was averaging 27 points a game, which respectively right now he averages like 20. He shot 50% from the field and 45%. He shot 45% from three.
Wow.
You cannot reciprocate that in a playoff run. Jamal Murray is just such a clutch player that, like, you can't replace that, really. You can't. So, I don't think the Nuggets are going to do anything. I think they got a great shot next year. I'm not sure what Aaron Gordon's contract situation is, so I don't know if he'll be back with the Nuggets, but he is a really good fit for them, so that was a good trade for them. That is everything I got for the show today.
Make sure you check the Next On Deck Instagram for Dylan's other punishment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll put it in the.
Your other one will be on your Instagram. Don't you worry.
Oh, so it's not going to be in the video?
It's going to be on your Instagram.
But isn't okay? It will be in the video, and also you already watched it, but it will also be on Instagram.
It's going to be a nice little post you have to make.
So you can check that out. I'm now even more scared of what I'm going to have to do. But thank you again to my friend Dan for the setup. Appreciate it. Again, check his Instagram in the description down below, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yep. Good night.
Punishment time. What's up, everybody? This is Ryan's first and only punishment this week. Ryan, I know it was a tough loss, but you know we still got to give you the punishment. So for our first punishment ever, I've decided, as you see, to make you drink 2 eggs. Just we cracked them, put them in the cup. There's nothing else in there, so we're not putting. He doesn't have to do anything else. This is already bad enough. So yeah, Ryan, what are you thinking going into this?
Well,
you think you can do it?
First off, this is no joke, man. I mean, we're for real.
Oh my god.
Definitely a good year for eggs, for sure. I'm kind of an egg connoisseur myself.
Have you done this before?
I've had an egg before, and it came back up pretty quickly.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what the purple floaties inside the egg are, but
oh, well, you're just gonna have them anyway.
They're just going with it, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, they look good.
Yeah,
they look appetizing.
They're good eggs. They definitely came out of the bone of chicken. No doubt about that.
I mean, I hope you're hungry, bud. So.
Absolutely.
This is for picking the loser and not the favorite. So never go with the upset. Always go with the favorite. This is your lesson. So whenever you're ready, bud.
Bottoms up, Bridges.
He got both of them down. Oh, okay. Oh, dude, do not puke on me. I swear, do not puke on me. Go in the sink if you have to, bud. Oh, it took it down like a champ. That a boy.
That's gross.
It was gross.
Oh yeah, it's such a weird texture.
But don't you feel so much more healthy from
ripped
it?
Now?
Yeah, now you're a big boy. See, so it wasn't even really a punishment. I just made you healthier.
I'm jacked.
You're welcome. All right, well that was Ryan's punishment for this week. I still have one more punishment to go, so that will be up on our Instagram. I'm kind of nervous for what Ryan's gonna make me do, considering I'm impressed. I'm impressed that you haven't thrown that up yet, considering that you said before you did. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy these punishments. We will continue to torture each other week in and week out, so I'm looking forward to it. So see you guys.